Hi guys, it's Emily from Novel Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my reading catch-up February week 2. Now, February week 1, that has amazing views. I don't know why I'm focusing on that, but I wanted to say a big thank you for all of you who watched the Bronte Readathon announcement, because that has smashed it out of the park as being probably one of my most popular videos, bar the very sad one. So I just want to say thank you everyone. It's really boosted me up. I know I shouldn't focus on views because that's not why I do this, but it really did cheer me up. The amount of people that want to do the Bronte Readathon has really made me happy, and I am ridiculously over the moon with it. Now, as I'm filming this on the 13th. I've read 12 books so far this month. I've read 6 books that I'm showing you now, but today I should be finishing at least one book. And I've got one more that I'll be finishing tomorrow, but I'll show you those in a minute. So far, I've not had a single book that's been a flop. I've not had a single book that's been 3 stars. So it's going well. Although I've saved 2 of the books that I'm most nervous about for the second half of the month. So let's just see how it goes. So firstly, I am reading Some Like It Cold by Elle Macnicol currently. I'm nearly halfway through, and I am absolutely loving this. It has got obviously a neurodivergent character because the author is neurodivergent. I think not deliberately, but it is portrayed better. I know it's because its own voices, so that obviously makes it being portrayed well, but it's being portrayed better than I've read hardly anyone, and it does show that a different side to being neurodivergent. Standardly, it has a lot of the books that have neurodivergent lead characters have them set in a very standard way, and it doesn't show that just because you're neurodivergent, it doesn't mean you're all the same. The spectrum is a big spectrum, and you can all be very different. And I think, even though I don't think I'm neurodivergent, never know, do we? I think it's portrayed better than anyone else, and I know that I think I've related more to this, and that there are certain things that I have that echo in some of the things that are said in this book. There is a bit of a romance. An 18-year-old Jasper is heading home for the holidays, and she's coming home to say goodbye basically, and there she meets Arthur, who is her rivalry, someone she didn't really get on with at primary sort of secondary school, whatever. I think this is set in America, and they didn't really get on, and it's her chance to say goodbye. But yeah, the romance, you can see the possible romance building up. But one of the things I think that's done really well is the way that Jasper says she loves the community, her hometown, but she doesn't feel like she fits in. And a lot of that I can relate to, because I am very different. Some people like me or some people don't. But I do know it's very hard to fit. I found it very hard to fit in. Certainly before I found BookTube, I found it really hard. So I think this book's really good, and it's got a real potential of being like a 5 stars. And this is the one that Charlie got me for Christmas. So it's got the sprayed edges, but it's actually a proper signed copy, and it's actually the ink, so it's done properly, and I really love it. The book that I'm buddy reading with the lovely Cat from Brews and Reviews, and this is actually going with proper buddy reading this time, like we're actually reading at the same time for a change. And this is 19 Steps by Millie Bobby Brown, who is in Stranger Things, but she did have a ghostwriter to help her, I believe, writing this. Love blooms in the darkest days. It is very emotional. It's set in World War II, and it's based partly on Millie Bobby Brown's, it's inspired by her family history and based on true events. It is very good. I think it really good. You can tell, even though she probably did have a ghostwriter and someone helping her, it does feel a bit more YA than a lot of my other historical fiction books set at that time. But it's really good. It's set in World War II, and a lot of that era sort of found out. It's set in Bethnal Green, which is really interesting because that's proper East End of London, which is actually the area of London my mum was from, I believe, that end of East End of London. It's done really well. Really loving it. I think it's a fantastic book. Into a book that I must admit is probably going to be a 3 stars, and this is The Last Kiss Goodbye by Tasmina Perry, and this is now out in paperback. But I got it for cheap at my charity at Baz Books, and it's okay, but it's partly in the 1960s and partly in current day. Bit of a mystery about someone that dies. It's probably my least favourite of the month so far, so this is the one I'm going to finish today, ideally, but I'm not really loving it. it's got big print, so I should be able to fly through it. But yeah, not loving it. So those are the ones I'm currently reading. I've got 2 4-stars, and it seems to be like they're all historical fiction this month. Like, so let's just see. The first one is historical fiction book that's actually set in Russia. This was 4 stars, and this is Sisters of the Sky by Laura Konchek. I don't think this is translated fiction, but part of me wonders if with the author's name, is she from that? So even though this is fictional, I believe that it's partly set on what happened back then. I don't know the exact details. Yeah, so it's set in, like I said, Russia, and it talks about the people that flew in the sky, the women that actually went up there and flew, which is very true. You don't really hear much about this. So it's set in a different place that I haven't really read much about World War One, World War Two. It's set in. So set around about the Soviet Union, what happened over there. It is very sad. Like, quite a few people died in it, which is very depressing. It was a library book. So she said Nina is devastated when she watches her younger brother being sent off to the front, and she decides she wants to go and fly, and it's fighting for women's rights. So very, very good, but very, very emotional. It is good, but it's very emotional, and I think, yeah, I need to be gentle on myself now. Although, like I said, I've got 2 books that I'm not 100% on. And it's a book that I was given by the lovely Charlie from Charles Heathcote a few years ago, and this is Margaret Dickinson, who writes very good historical fiction. It's Forgive and Forget, and it's a bloody long book. What have I been reading? I think this is why I've read less books this week, because I've had this and one more really big book. I read this pretty much over 2 days, because again, the font is quite big, and this is actually set in the early 1900s, so it is technically 22nd century, but it's at the time of the typhoid era, but this book spans a long time over it. Polly Longdean's China Like Doll Belly is a strong. Basically, you talk about Polly, and she is a very strong character. Her mom dies right at the start, and she ends up bringing up she's got 2 sisters, 2 sisters and 2 brothers, and she ends up bringing up certainly the 2 youngest, because her mother dies when the youngest is still like a newborn virtually, and she's only 13 when she takes on this, and it's really like a big family era. And her father's grieving, her 12-year-old younger brother at the time, it starts when he's 12, Eddie, and he's basically wayward and difficult, and Violet's very rebellious as well, and she brings them up, and she has this policeman, Leo, they're like friends since they were younger, and it's love, but he's a policeman, and yeah, it's a good book. Not one I'm going to keep though. Historical fiction, still good 4 stars, and we'll say from there. This is another historical fiction now. I think this might be the last historical fiction. Yes, it is. In Love and War by Liz Trenow, and this is set 3 women, once enemies, their secrets will unite them. This is set in World War One. Again, over in France, over near Flanders, which is where a lot of the wars happened, a lot of the sort of fighting happened. This was 4.5 stars because it was done really, really well. Like, I'm not saying the others weren't, but this for me had a really big thing, and that's because it was 3 very different female characters, and it's set in like the small village of Hoppenstadt, and these 3 women arrive searching for traces of the men that they have loved and lost. Very different stories. It's my first Liz Trenow, and the kids got it for me. And it certainly won't be my last. Like, I'm definitely going to be reading more of her books, because each of these 3 women have got very different stories. But the friendships connect, very different upbringings, set of World War One, and it's just a very good book. Now to the ones that I'm keeping all the rest of these now. So I've got like 3 keepies, which is good, and only one to the library and 2 to the charity shop. And this is Layla and the Blue Fox by Tom DeFreston. For me, I love this. Chris got me this for my birthday last year. It's not quite as good as Julia and the Shark, but I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't think it was quite as good, but I did absolutely love it. Miles mean nothing to Fox. She only knows that she's exactly where she's meant to be. Fox wakes up and begins to walk, but meanwhile Layla embarks on a journey to find the mother she thought she'd lost. And one of the things I love about this book is that it has 2 different types of stories. It has the Fox's story and Layla's story, and they're actually written in slightly different colours. So that's actually the Fox's story, that sort of era there. And the artwork is amazing. And then you've got Layla's story, which is written on the white pages. So when you get the colour pages, you know that's Fox's story. And I think that's done tremendously well. This is a keepy. This is incredible, and I absolutely loved it. But it's not quite as good as Layla in the Blue. Layla, it's not quite as good as Julia in the Sharp, but still very, very good. Now, my 2 5-stars couldn't be more different if you tried. So, first of it is the biggest book, one of the biggest books, and it took about 3 days to read. And this is Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. And this is a saucy American romance. But it's 5 stars because there is a mystery element to it. You have to read this book in order. The first one was Things We Never Got Over. And Danny bought me the first one, and Danny also bought me the third one in the series. And I got this second hand last year. And it's a series that I'm bloody loving. Because there is a mystery element that's connected to the first book. So you can't really talk about that. This is about Lena, who's on a mission. And she comes in, she's got to do something. And then this is also about Lena, and it was also about Nash. Yeah, Nash. Nash, who is the brother of the lead character in the other book, Noggs. But he got shot in the other book. I shouldn't have said that. Spoiler, sorry. Something happened to him in the first book, and he is in a very different place to what he was in the first book. But you obviously know there's going to be a romance between him and Lena. But the way it's done is brilliant. And you've got a little dog in it as well, and the way that sort of plays out. Very, very big. Very exciting. Absolutely loved it. It was 5 stars. It was a really good, fun, saucy romance. And now I need to read the 3rd book in the series because I can't wait. So it might have to be ready in April because May's going to be quite busy. So I have to read the 3rd one because I know the 3rd one. I know which connect books who it is in the 3rd book because you can see the 2 characters in it. But yeah, you can see how it's going to go almost. But I don't care. It's fun. It's saucy. It's pink. It was just everything I bloody needed. And last but not least, my other 5-star of the month, and this is probably going to go on my 5 stars of the year. I need to decide whether I'm going to buy the 2nd book. My mum's got a copy of it, but I think I might keep it. I need to decide if I'm going to keep the series because my mum's got a copy of the 2nd book, and I need to decide if I'm going to have it or not. And this was a book that I got in the charity shops in Bognor, like last year. And I think it's my first time reading Stephanie Garber's historical fiction. The next one is apparently The Ballad of Never After. So if I don't find it when I'm going on my book shopping binges, which I'm doing, 3 book shopping days in March, all within a week of each other, please shoot me. But this was my TBR jar pick, and TBR jar smashed it out of the park again. It's 5 stars all the way. Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. It is about, as long as she can remember, Evangeline Fox has believed in happy ever after until she learns that the love of her life is about to marry another and her dreams are shattered. Desperate to stop the wedding and heal the wounded heart, Evangeline starts to deal with the charismatic but wicked Prince of Hearts. In exchange for his help, she asks for 3 kisses to be given at the time and the place of her choosing. So, this is really fun, really fast-paced fantasy. I bloody loved it. It was brilliant. It's my favourite of the year, favourite of the month so far. I don't know, I've still got obviously a couple more weeks, but I'm absolutely loving it. Yeah, totally. I'm now trying to decide whether I pick up Caraval, the other series that series that she's written. So I need to try and decide. So let me know down below if you think I should. Just a quick little things about what's been happening this week. So when I filmed this, just after I filmed my first of the weekly catch-ups last week, I went to town. I didn't have Baz Books. Hint, hint, I've got Baz Books today, my voluntary job. You'll see this jumper in quite a few videos. As to whether I switch it up and put a different jumper on so that you don't think that all the videos are the same, I don't know. Yes, I went to town. I found some books to buy, but I did treat myself. But I didn't. I was very good. I didn't go to the coffee shop. I just decided to go and buy myself a cheese twist. I think I bought myself a lovely cheese twist, made myself a lovely coffee when I got back, and had the sort of coffee shop experience sitting in my living room. So I'm going to show you a picture of that next, I think. So that's been really good. But I did find Northwoods by Daniel something or another that I was nearly buying full price last year, and I didn't because Jem recommended it, but I found it for £1 in the charity shop. We also had my lovely sister Vicky's birthday at the start of the week, and me and Charlie went over there, and my brother-in-law was there as well, and she's got 3 gorgeous cats, and I'll show you a picture of them at the end as well. and we had a really fun morning together. Charlie got me hash browns, which was really good fun. We had a lovely sister time. We did find some pictures of us growing up. Vicky had pictures of us growing up and she sent them to me and Charlie, and that really made us really happy. But yeah, so that's been my week. Next week is obviously half term, so the state you'll see me, you might see like hair coming out of me, like more grey hairs, because yeah, it's going to be busy. In some ways it's busy, but I'm off, so I'm going to focus on seeing the kids. I might do some baking with Thomas and see what happens. Let me know what you've been reading this week. Let me know what you think. If you got to the end of this video, I know I've got to think about hearts, but leave me a broken heart emoji for this. So leave me a broken heart emoji if you got to the end of this video. And don't want to leave a comment. But yeah, let me know what you've been reading this week. How's your week been going? Love talking to you in the comments. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, subscribe. Ring on my ding-a-ling. And I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.